Hello and welcome to a little bit of a different video today, because today we'll be looking at ADCs or marksmen. So I'll first be going through the different types of marksmen that we do have in the game. Obviously there are more variations, but I just wanted to see if I could at least put them into smaller categories. So here we have the utility marksmen, most notably Ashe and Jhin. And obviously most of these ADCs they can be more than these, like a utility marksman doesn't always just have to be utility marksman. It can be other things, right? But we have Ashe, Jhin, Misfortune, and Sivir. So again, for each and every one of these classes, we'll be looking at what do they want to do, how do they aim to achieve that, and what do they need to achieve that. A utility marksman's goal is to provide things for the team. So in Ashe's example, we would have her vision with E and her slows and her ultimate that can give pick potential and CC. Jhin, pretty similar. W, long range CC pick potential, ultimate, same thing. Traps, give good area control. Misfortune, E slow, ult, controlling areas, right? Sivir, her ultimate. Now with the rework, she's becoming more of a hyper carry, which is these types of champions. But those are all the utility marksmen that I was going to look at today. In this video, I'll be going through utility marksmen in particular. I'm going to be looking a little bit closer at those. If you want, if you guys want, I might make a video on the other types as well. I know are also some ADCs missing here because it's an older tier list. For example, Samira would definitely also fall under these synergy ADCs. But anyway, let's take a look at utility ADCs and what they want to do. So the goal is to be self-sufficient, help their team with utility in every single game, no matter if they're 10-0 or 0-10. The example I gave previously was with Ashe. She will always provide value for her team if she can use her E and ultimate properly. Obviously, if she's fed, she'll be doing a lot of damage as well. But her main goal is to always provide something for her team. And what the beauty with utility ADCs in general is that they need very little to achieve this. Like all they need is to get their level 6, right? The Ashe all she needs is to get her level 6. That's why support Ashe is a very viable strategy. And it doesn't really you don't really have to do a lot of things, which means it's pretty easy to execute. And that leads us into the ups and downs for the utility ADC class. It's a lot easier to execute than the other ADCs because you will require less on your mechanics and more on if you can hit your utility slash CC, right? It's very consistent, so it's a very good type if you do want to climb, and it gives your team a lot of value even if you're not being played around, which you can never rely on unless you have a friend in the jungle. And the downside is you cannot carry as hard as other ADCs, like let's say a Twitch, for example. If a Twitch gets ahead, he can completely stomp the game on his own without any help. You would have issues if you do not have any teammates. And with that out of the way, I thought we'll be looking at a replay that I was looking for some good higher elo examples for this, but I could only really find this short one. Currently struggling opening it up.
30 seconds until minions spawn.
We're now into the game here. Again, since we're looking at the utility class, we'll be looking at Ashe here and what Ashe could be doing better and worse. So for laning phase, our goal as the Ashe would be to be a little bit careful because Twitch Nami should be a lot stronger early on. Twitch does have the cleanse though, so in combat spells we would be rather even. So let's see what should happen here. So right off the bat, the Twitch and Nami are leashing. So this means that we as the Ashe can get a push going. The reason why the Ashe would be walking backwards there is because of the threat of the invisible Twitch. Again, they do have the stronger level 1 here, but considering the wave is so huge at the moment, it means that even though they have the stronger level 1s, minions will always prevail as being better. Anyhow, let's see what will transpire here. Ashe Lulu does get the level 2 here and get the crash in. Now they just gotten enough poke, so Ashe is running out of mana slowly, but she does have presence of mind in her roots. And also they did poke the Twitch and Nami decently enough that they do not need to be this scared. Ashe will realize this at any second now and will be commencing the all-in due to the fact of the amount of minions that are now attacking the Twitch. So, you can see the paint, but it is cannot see the paint. Oh, very unlucky. Anyways, I did draw a arrow towards the Twitch right here because he is clearly out of position and should be punished for walking up this far. And let's see what the Ashe does. So she instantly pops Ghost, realizing that Twitch has moved up too far, and Nami has already used both of her abilities. Vi is here to assist though, but at that point Twitch has already died, and Ashe will go down eventually as well, but not before they can pick up the 2-for-1 here. What will transpire is Graves will be coming down here and kill the Vi as well. But the whole idea was Twitch moved up too far and we punished because we got the wave level 1. So even though you are the weaker early game, the minions will most of the time decide whether or not you win. Lulu does overextend and gets herself killed. And now all Ashe needs to do is try to catch some EXP, but since Nami is playing correctly and walking up, there is no chance for Ashe to safely get this experience. What will happen here from blue side is very well played because they're slow pushing into getting another gank from the Vi. Ashe could have possibly put a ward into the bush, maybe to see this coming and Lulu would not get caught off guard by this. But just because of the huge minion wave, Lulu is making a grave mistake walking up this far, and she does get punished for this. And they dive the Ashe, and Ashe trades 1-for-1 for the Twitch, but loses a decent chunk of the minion wave. Happens. Anyway, now it went from winning from red side to being back to even, but then Twitch makes a crucial mistake and dies in mid lane. Meanwhile, Nami and Lulu are both playing roaming supports, so Ashe is gonna try to, as best as possible, try to fast shove this lane and maybe even get a plate. Lulu does go down here, but we can still see Nami on the map, so it's completely safe walking up this far. Vi could be rotating down here, that's why we will not be going any further than this second plate. Twitch does show up here, so what the Ashe is trying to do and is supposed to be doing is trying to catch herself backwards because of the new mini wave arriving, and maybe with the help of those minions and walking out of the poison, she can try to at least trade a 1-for-1, or in this case even winning it because of the minion help. If we were to look at items, they're rather even. Twitch has extra boots and a dagger, but Ashe has the lifesteal and an extra 5 damage. So Twitch overextends, gets himself killed, and now the position is looking rather favorable for the Ashe. The reason Ashe stopped her back here is she realized she needed a little bit more gold for her item. Otherwise, recalling is the correct option here, because there's not really much you can get here. Let's see, at 14 minutes I will be making a short time skip, because that's when we'll be entering the start of the mid-game macro. So our goal as an ADC in most games is to get the first tower and then try to rotate up to get the second one, and then just park ourselves in mid lane. Sorry for, there's a lot of pings going on here. So our main goal as an ADC would be to get the tower, get the next one, and then just park ourselves mid lane, get our items, and then try to team fight as much as possible, and then hopefully carry the game that way. Which thinks Lulu has reset because she was low. Lulu was intelligently staying behind and doing a very aggressive polymorph here. Sorry about that. But Ashe does manage to cleverly get 2 kills here by holding off for the ultimate. And she's not going to be moving to this in any case, because first of all, we do see the Vi popping up in the top lane. The Ashe sees the Vi in the top lane. And also, this wave needs to be shoved under before any other action can be done. And the reason it's completely safe to push this in is, again, we do see all players on the map. Twitch and Nami are now currently walking out of base. So there is completely nothing wrong with taking this plate and then taking a recall. We are getting closer to getting our goal of first tower in bot lane. And a very important thing to notice as well, especially on an ADC, is if your jungler is on the other side of the map and you cannot walk up to this wave, which is clear considering it's slow pushing towards us and our support's not even close, then what you should be doing every single time is at least getting the Gromp, sometimes even the Wolves. But since we saw that Graves is recalling, meaning he will be pathing there, and also the wave is showing up here again, we would be going just with the Gromp here. So you might think here, what is this ultimate? But if I just give you the items real quick, Ashe realized that Twitch has not gotten his Bork yet, and therefore the minion wave state doesn't matter. We do have a level on the Twitch. We do see Nami, and Ashe believes that with Ghost and or Flash, she should be completely okay killing the Twitch before Nami shows up. This is a little bit risky, but not really considering the strength of how far ahead she is. So she gets both ultimates, she uses only Ghost and her own ultimate. Ashe would have probably not gone for that play if her own ultimate would have missed. But since it hit, we do manage to pick up a free kill here. We're completely fine to walk up, because even if both Vi and Yone show up, Graves is pathing down to cover a potential 3v3. But right here, the Twitch is on his way back, so what Ashe is doing correctly is she's pinging off, because this is not something you want to do. Look at Ashe HP, look at Lulu HP. Ashe has no ultimate and no ghost because she used it to kill the Twitch. Ashe has almost 1000 gold behind. Lulu has also more than 1000 gold behind. So what Ashe is trying to do is get her team to back off. Sadly, that doesn't really go through. Lulu gets caught. Ashe doesn't really know what to do here. The correct play would be to recall, but considering that Vi just used her ultimate, the only way to remedy this misplay from Graves and Lulu would also be to misplay yourself and walk back. And so Ashe does, and manages to pick up the kill onto the Nami. And again, checking items, we would see that Twitch still does not have his Blade of the Ruined King, meaning he should not be able to duel the Ashe at this point. Ashe tries to catch out the Twitch with the slow, thinking it should be enough. Maybe could have been enough if we tanked another 2 turret shots, but that would be giving away 900 gold for 300, and that is not something we want to do here. Ashe scouts out that the Twitch is recalling, ults to stop it. It is an acceptable play because the fact that she wants him still to recall and miss the entire wave. Because he is so low that if he stays and gets hit by a W, he would be dead. He is still here though, and uses his ultimate to stay here and get some experience. So we now got our tower, so our goal would be to move into the top lane. So let's see, let me just skip forward in time a bit. I think it said 14 on my notifications. Right here, we're about to respawn. We just executed to trade with the Twitch here. The Ashe executed to get to the Twitch. So she did not die by an enemy champion, still has her bounty. We'll get her Rage Blade here. Normally she would want to move top, but Renington is still there. She would then like to go mid, but Melzer is also still there, and the wave is pushing in with a big herald. So Lulu should have realized this and moved bot herself, but she doesn't in time, and Ashe gets overconfident because of her newly found 2-item spike and would try to duel the Vi. The problem is, as soon as the ultimate hits, Twitch does show up, and therefore Ashe overstayed her welcome and barely dies. A very well played by the Twitch, but a mistake by both Lulu and Ashe combined, giving away that 1000 gold for virtually nothing. Lulu does outplay the Vi here, but trades 2 for 1. But now, real quick for a thing. Let me just pause again. So right here, I just want to go through a quick little thing about mid-game macro as an ADC. We have 3 zones. We have basically the safe zone, which ends about here. Let's show it on the minimap. Then we have the neutral zone, which is between the yellow and the pink on the minimap. And then we have the quote-unquote aggressive / pressure zone, where you want to avoid being in this zone unless it's completely safe. You want to, mostly in mid games, if your team doesn't allow you to go mid lane, to be catching waves in the collection zone, which is this. I should probably put another color. The black zone right here. The black zone on the minimap, which goes right here up towards the tower. And now we're back, so that's what we want to do as an ADC. And right now, again, we're waiting for the next wave, so we take Rom. We would have missed 0 CS right there if we hit that 1 minion with the W, but we've missed no experience doing so. And after we've pushed the wave out of the collection zone, Ashe looks for a roam to then secure mid-prio for the dragon. Yone is out of the fight, meaning he needs to recall, so it is completely safe just walking up, clearing the wave, and then rotating down to the dragon, which is also a big thing about ADCs in general wanting to stay in mid lane, because they do want to stay in the mid lane so that they can easily rotate to the fights, because ADCs are most of the team's damage in most games. So again, and if your team doesn't do what they're supposed to do, the Malzahar should be the one catching the waves at bot lane or in top lane, and the Renekton should be doing vice versa as well. But since nobody else does it, Ashe will be going down here and collecting it in the collection zone. Now, since she does see 3 people on the map, 4 people now that Vi showed up, she is confident enough with her 2 items to even go as far as to walk into the pressure zone. Now that she even saw the Yone, she knows that she can still push this wave out before backing off. It's completely safe and doesn't do anything. Ashe does fire an ult on top, hits the Twitch, but Twitch is cleansed. Now, since the Wukong just completely cleaned up Ashe's team on his own, Ashe needs to recall and go to the other collection zone in top lane here, because that ends right at the tower or a little bit further. And the collection zone, neutral zone, and pressure zone will obviously change depending on which towers have been taken. So again, Malzahar stays in top lane, so where do we want to go as an ADC? Into mid lane. So while doing that, we'll collect the red buff, then go mid lane, get the tier 1 tower, and then back off because it's a Twitch. Into most other champions that aren't invisible, playing this passive is not really that necessary, but the fact that the enemy team do have Wukong, Vi, and Twitch means you're gonna have to be a little bit more careful, and also against something like a Nocturne, going into the pressure zone is most of the time a big no-no. So you gotta understand what the enemies want to do and react accordingly. Okay, so now we are closing in on the late game fights, and the entire team is with you, right? But you do still have Flash and Ghost as the Ashe, so you would be completely fine getting engaged on. Immediately flashing out from the Wukong just to make sure you don't lose too much HP. And very important, if you have Ghost, try to use it right before you kill somebody if you know you want to be chasing, just so you get those extra 6 seconds on your Ghost CD. Ashe uses it right before Wukong dies, and will now have the increased duration from Ghost. And at this point, Wukong has overextended, and his team already committed into it. So this is now a very easy chase down. A little bit nice sidestep there, doesn't matter if you get hit. Then you just get a free kill here, and normally this would be where you take 1 tower and you would ping Baron, but since it's only 18 minutes in this Clown Fiesta game, that just is not possible. So what ends up happening is they just walk up a little bit further. Should have realized at this point we have no minions, and should just be recalling here. Maybe looking for some camps in the enemy jungle. just to save some tempo here, but nobody gets caught. She gets her third item under Mythic. Graves overextends for a blue buff. Gets himself caught. Another member from red side does get caught 30 seconds before Baron, but so does the Yone in mid. Twitch is bot lane with Herald, gets tier 2 and gets out. And let's see when next objectives are up. So Baron and Dragon are both spawning in 30 seconds. Ashe cannot be looking for a recall, she has nothing to buy. So all she's gonna try to have to do is two things: get mid prio, and then try to move over to the Dragon. But that is not what ends up happening. She chases the Twitch for a bit, doesn't get it. But always, as an ADC, try to look for the closest resource of gold, safe gold that is. So Ashe, this game has probably taken about 3 to 4 gromps. That's already a kill's worth of gold. Alzar teleports in. And let's just see what transpires here. Vi goes in for the steal, she fails. Twitch opens up here. Ashe does not have an ult to cancel this, so they're just rotating back here. And Graves is completely out of position here. Red team already did get the Dragon, which was the goal itself. Ashe, again, does not really have the capabilities for a full-on fight. So what ends up happening here is nothing. And Ashe could have done a little bit of a better job trying to ping off here. At the rest of the game, Ashe does ping pretty properly. It does not have an E or a Scrying Orb for this Baron. But it would look like the enemy team would try to do it as a compensation for a losing Dragon. They were indeed starting it up, but considering red side knew that Twitch was kind of low from the fight previous, they are fine to walk up here. But again, since they're not currently on Baron, the most important thing is to first get the mid prio, so that is what Ashe will be doing. And Renekton is in the pressure zone. And now a ping has been commenced to start the Baron. And as soon as this happens, the Baron will be instantly started. Because Vi should not be down there at any point where Baron is up. So Baron does go down. And here some mistakes are being made from the Ashe. Flash is coming off cooldown in a couple seconds here. Oh, I guess Ashe did not actually have flash up, so I guess she could not have flashed the Yone ultimate. But she does manage to survive here. Vi goes in, gets herself killed. And now again, closest resource, Krugs. Then red buff. And then we recall here because there's a decent amount of gold to be spent. And now here, not Twitch, but Renekton got himself killed in the bot lane. So here you have two options. Two very important options here. Is since your Malzahar does not have TP, you have two options. Either you try to get everyone to go to the top lane, which will probably be the safe option, or you just run mid lane because you know that's where everyone wants to be anyway. But here a very important decision is made, and it's made because of thinking of team comps. So on the left side, on blue side, we have a very good engaged team comp. So trying to run into them is not a good decision. And since we're seeing that Renekton just got out of base with no teleport, here you have two options as an ADC. Option number one would be to try to just hover around in mid lane, backing off a bit, and waiting for him to pressure in the side lane again. Or number two, you try to move into top lane to him. So let's see what ends up happening here. Ashe realizes this about now, and she starts pinging. We want to go up here. So they rotate up. And what this does is it forces the enemy team, so blue team, into moving up further away from their fountain, meaning it would take them longer to regen. And Vi gets caught out, does get away though, and Renekton gets caught. And here red side needs to be a little bit careful because the fact that only ones that used their ultimates was Twitch and Nami. So they could still go for an engage, but Wukong used his ult, and now it's basically free to walk up again. But there's no reason to go faster than necessary, because again, you do have Baron for another 20 seconds to be precise, but next objective, we got the tower, so Drake is next up. Reset, get your items, get a controller if you can, and try to set up the objective. Ashe does make a mistake here, taking these minions instead of going for the mid prio. Does steal the blue buff as well, which is also a mistake. But Ashe should have gone mid lane, pushed the wave out, and then moved to the top side into the river. Obviously not alone considering there's a Twitch, but there's no longer a Twitch. So Drake will be picked up here. And again, since Twitch is dead, red side can push up for another 10 seconds because it's going to be a 4v4. But you're going to have to wait a little bit as soon as Twitch spawns before pushing up any further. That's why Malzahar is moving up way too far here, and Ashe already starts pinging off as soon as Twitch respawns. She even pings a missing ping onto the Renekton. So get the inhibitor and you disengage. If this becomes any closer than this, do not take the inhibitor because it's not worth the risk. But it's barely enough time to get the inhibitor and then back off. And considering there's nothing good to buy here from really anyone, the next objective would be to either everyone moves to Renekton or everyone else moves to top lane. And Ashe decided she wanted to go top, meaning she assist pinged and on her way pinged to top lane. Catches all the gold and experience on the way, and is now the same level as the enemy top laner, because she kept going for the resources and experience. Now here we have something very interesting, 3 blue members. So, and we do know that a recall is 8 seconds, so he died right now, meaning that best case scenario you have about 10 seconds. So what you should be doing right now is mentally count 10 seconds. So it was 3:07, so 7 seconds more. And about now is where you should be trying to move backwards. You have 3 more seconds till the recall comes in. And then you give it another couple seconds and then you'll be there. But Renekton died. So you take the small objective, move back, look at the big objectives, see Barrett's 40 seconds out. You still have time to recall and get there because the enemies cannot one-shot it. Get your stopwatch, get your elixir because it's going to be the last fight. Ashe had about 1.5k gold on her, so she did decide to get an elixir and a stopwatch rather than just something like a BF sword. And then the rest of this isn't really important because it's just another fight that's about to break out. Lulu walks up too far, gets caught, and then it's just game's over. So just a quick recap. Yeah. So what you want to do is, I'll add something as well. So what you want to do is, again, the goal is to be with your team in mid to late game, catch as much gold and EXP as possible along the way. Go because you as an ADC are going to need every single gold you get. Oh my, well done. That was not what I wanted to do. Anyway, that's funny. If cover on other side. And then again, if you're ahead, which you are, ping as much as possible. Pinging is very important because without pinging, your team is not going to know what you want to do and is not going to be following. Try to fight numbers advantages. And also the last thing, but definitely not the least, farm in the safe zone. Let me see if I can get a Summer's Rift map open so I can try to mark it as well. Okay, this is a little bit of a scuffed map, but I hope you can see the mouse. So again, safe zone. Oh, I can move it as well. Okay, so I can make it a little bit smaller. Beautiful. Okay. Just gonna cover this part. So again, we have the safe zone. After first tower is gone, it goes, here's the safe zone. Well, I guess it's the danger, the pressure zone. We're base 1 here, because I took the wrong color. There we have the safe zone, which is here. And then the thing in between is going to be, I'm sorry about these yellow lines, by the way, I did not draw them myself. But everything in between here is the neutral zone. Then obviously if you lose another tower, let's say this tower falls. I'll do it in black, this tower is fallen. Then the safe zone goes up a bit because there's further up. Neutral zone is somewhere then around here. And then the rest becomes the pressure zone, right? So if your team, this only comes really in handy if your team doesn't do what you want them to do, which is going to happen most of the time. So let's say your Annie in mid lane doesn't want to move her ass to the side lane. Well, then you know where you should be trying to catch the waves. And then you just rotate back in mid lane, see if you can catch a wave, wait for the wave to come back, and then maybe take a jungle camp or two on the way. Well, guys, that's all the things I have for you in this video. I hope you've enjoyed, and let me know what you want to see next, and I'll see you in some other time. Peace.